Hello, welcome to Mitchmatics, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to multiply integers on a number line. So in this tutorial I'm going to show you 4 different problems, and they're going to be color coded. So when you're multiplying on a number line, you have to always start at 0. So if you notice right here how I have a line drawn right here at 0, this is the start. This is where we're going to start when we're doing any of these problems. So let's start with our first 2 problems, which deal with multiplying opposite signed integers. So my first problem is 3 times negative 2. And all that really means is I have 3 negative 2's. So if this was a problem in real life, this could be an example of having 3 withdrawals of $2 from a savings account. And you're trying to determine how much of a balance that person has after they withdrew when they had a 0 balance. So how much debt do I owe to a bank? So let's do it on a number line. So 3 times negative 2. So because I'm going to have 3 times negative 2, I'm going to be adding into the negative direction. So you can think of it as adding to the negative direction. So again, we start at 0, and now I'm going to go over 3 2's this way, 3 negative 2's. So I'm going to go over my first 2. So this is, again, adding a negative 2. You can think of it like this. This sign comes from this first number, and then the second sign comes from this. So a negative times or positive times a negative. Positive times a negative is always a negative, so we're going to the negative or left direction. So that's my first 2, and I'm going to go to my next 2, so plus negative 2. And then again, I have 3 2's. I'm going to go one more. I'm going to add one more negative 2, and that means just to go to the negative direction. So I have 3 of them, and I land right here at a negative 6. So 3 times negative 2 should be a negative 6. Now let's do the next problem. Instead, I have negative 2 times 3. So, again, this is very similar. So, negative 2 times 3. So, instead of adding a 2, instead, I'm going to be subtracting a positive 3. And so, because these are opposite signs, I'm going to go in the negative direction again. But in this case, I'm going to have negative 2 3's. So, instead, I'm going to have 3's that I'm counting this way. So, for instance, I'm going to go my first 3. So, I'm subtracting a 3. And then I'm going to subtract another 3. And this is just the way you can think about it. So I'm going to subtract another 3. And you can have parentheses. It doesn't matter if you have parentheses or not. You could do this as well. So again, I'm going to land at negative 6. So if you notice from this, the order of where the negative is, if it starts in the beginning, doesn't matter. But the context does matter, because this is 2 3's, and this is 3 2's. Or 3 negative 2's, I should say. So just be careful of the context, but in the end, you still end up with the same exact answer. So let's do positives, or let's do, Let's do the same sign integers with multiplying on a number line. So now let's start with 4 times 2. I'm going to do a light pink. It's not going to be the same pink. And so this just means 4 times 2. So I have 2 positives. So I'm going to go to the positive direction, or the right direction. So I start at 0. And so I'm going to go 4 2. So I'm going to go my first 2. So I'm going to add my first 2. I'm going to add my next 2. I'm going to add my third 2. And you want to count while you do this. And then I'm going to add my fourth 2. So now I have 4 2's. And so that makes me land at 8. So 4 times 2 should be 8. Now let's do instead 2 negatives multiplied together. So this is the same concept. So you can always just remember a negative times a negative is always a positive. So we're going to go again to the right direction. So negative 4 times negative 2. So this just means I have negative 2's. So if I was to do this on the number line, I would say I'm going to go over first negative 2. So I'm subtracting a negative 2, and so if we go back to our rules of adding and subtracting on a number line, if I'm subtracting a negative, I have to flip directions. So if I was subtracting this way and then have another negative, I flip to the other direction. So minus negative 2. That's my first 2. I'm going to do another minus 2. I'm going to do one more. And then again, I have to have 4 of these. And so minus negative 2 again. And now I land at the same spot. I am now at a positive 8. So I hope this helped you out with understanding how to multiply integers on a number line. And I hope this was a great way to help you visualize what's going on with the mathematics. Have a wonderful day.